This is Johnny Cofield with the Coach Cofield Show on Four Quarters Online, talking to a former Tallahassee, now he's a world-renowned assistant coach at Illinois University. How you doing, Thad?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you for having me think about me and it's good to get on here with you, man, and talk and fellowship a little bit.
All right. I like to talk about, find out with coaches, especially from guys from this area, the journey. Talk about the beginning and then in the middle and at the end, how you got to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been a student of the game. Obviously born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida, going to Godby High School, which I am now in the Hall of Fame, just so you know.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. It took 20 years, but I'm in there.
I'm saying I ain't been in my high school Hall of Fame. It's been 40 some years since I graduated.
So
So
yeah, proud of that moment. Just happened this year, this March, and just had an opportunity to go to Coffeeville, and obviously went on to graduate from there and went to the University of Central Florida. But always was a student of the game when I was at the University of Central Florida, and didn't know I majored in criminal justice. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do as far as the football, but I knew I wanted to work and impact young people. I had really been affected by the men in my life were the coaches, right? The coaches that I had been around, the Coach Witters of the world, the Coach Fords of the world, yourself, TC, all the guys who really had an impact on me were my coaches. Coach Rex, going all the way back to my our Pee Wee League team at Westside. Those are the men who had a really effect on my life. So didn't know I was going to be a coach, but knew I wanted to have an impact on young people, right? And so majored in criminal justice. From there, I worked at a place called This Village right there in Tallahassee, Florida, and again wanted to impact the youth, and worked there for about 6 months, and I actually the supervisor knew I played college football, and I remember I tell the story all the time. I remember her saying, "Dad, won't you play? Won't you take the kids out?" I worked at a drug rehab facility, so I'll give you a little bit of context there. I was a mental health therapist, and so I worked at a drug rehab facility out there, and so I was able to take. She said, "Won't you take the young men outside and just play a little football with them, show them how to play ball?" And so I went out, took the guys out, and for me, Johnny, I only know how to do things one way, right? You go in or you go big, you go home. The way you do one thing, the way you do everything, right? So, man, I brought out my plays. I still have my scout reports all the way back from 1998, 99. First game we played was against Drew Brees. My first college game was against Drew Brees. I still had a lot of those plays and scout reports that we were running. So what I started to do was started to teach them how to play the game. And man, I found myself falling in love with it. I didn't really know what was going on at that time. So there's two facilities. So there was a juvenile detention center where I previously worked. That was my first job at this village. Then they moved me over to a place, like I told you, this adolescence, where we rehab young people. And so um, we set up a game, a real game. I never told you this story, but we set up a legitimate tag, a game against the juvenile detention center, right? And it probably took us about a month to set that up. So every day we would go outside. It just gave our young people another way, another avenue, another way to generate focus and really focus on something else that gave them some interest, some things that sparked their interest. And we started putting together a game plan. And lo and behold, we go over. I remember just like yesterday, and we beat them. Now we beat them 42-7 was the final score. I was the coach. They had like three or maybe five coaches, and it was just me and the organization that we had, the fun that I had, the itch that I had, the love that I had for what I was doing was I was able to impact young people. And I said, what better way to have an impact on young people than to be a coach? And again, I went and volunteered from there with Algie Hendricks at Rickers High School. Didn't go to my high school, but I went to the first people who gave me an opportunity and went there and worked there with him, and he saw some things in me, and then we kind of went from there. But that's legitimately how I got into coaching. Did not
Nice.
know uh, that would lead me to where I am now. Obviously coaching in the Sugar Bowl, been in 4 championships, just being able to provide a good living for my family, and the relationships bigger than anything. The relationships that I've been able to have and formulate with young people that I coach and work with on a day-to-day basis. So um, I know if you got any questions going forward from there about that, but that's
Yeah.
how I got into coaching.
What team you coached in the Sugar Bowl? I'm learning something myself.
Yeah, last year I was in the Sugar Bowl.
Oh,
Uh,
that,
yep, last
oh,
year Bowl. At,
yeah.
yeah, we played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. It was a really good experience. Felt like we were going to beat them, and then they got going. And they got going. So no, it was fun. Things that you don't forget, and I'm hoping there's much more of that right down the line for me. But as you're going through the journey, like I said, I've been in 4 of those championship games. We beat TCU in the championship game. Really felt like we should have beat them in the first game that we played them. We played them in game 6, and really felt like we let one slip on the road. And then we go into AT&T when everybody is there. Obviously ESPN. It's only 3, 4, 5 games. It's championship weekend, right?
Right.
So it's only you. Everybody's watching with the first game, and we go out there and we win it, man. It was just an unbelievable feeling right there. So that was last year. But like I said, I've been in 4 of them, been a part of it. 4 of them, won 2 of them. But that's the journey, man. The goal is to go win the big one, right? We were close. Obviously, TCU only had one loss. We were close to being in the playoffs last
Cause you what's Coach BA was there with,
year. Yep.
and, yeah.
So BA, BA was my coach, and at Coffeeville, one of my
Right.
obviously coach. And so we've stayed in contact for all. I mean, I talk to him every day. I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him every single day. He's a mentor
Oh,
to me. And so like yourself, he's just been a mentor for me ever since he coached me in college.
yeah, I kind of saw that was interesting. That I when I looked up, I keep up with you guys. You probably don't realize that I
I
keep up,
do.
and cause I'm I remember where you came from
Right.
from the beginning, and now you coaching in the big time. You're in Big Ten. What
Yes.
is the difference? What would be what's kind of the difference in coaching in the Big Ten and as coaches in Big 12?
The Big Ten, I just think this question this is a tough question. It's a good question, tough question. I would just say my experience last year. I've been this is my 4th year in the Big Ten. Um, and I spent 1 year in the Big 12. I would just say, um, just to be honest, I think the quarterback play is really good. I won't talk about what's not good in each conference, but what I would say is that I feel like the quarterback play is really good, and it's a really good quality of football in the Big 12. I would say the conference that I'm in right now is getting ready to be the number 1 conference in football, if not all, because we're adding Oregon, we're adding Washington, actually adding USC, we're adding UCLA. Um, there's not going to be a conference. It's every week, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So this right here, not it's it. This is man. They coach in the Big Ten, like like these. And the one thing when I left the first time Big Ten, like these guys know how to coach. They make adjustments. I'm not saying that other leagues aren't coaching. I'm just saying like these guys coach the game of football. Like if you have a great play, the big example I have you better run that play all the way down the field. Because if you don't, by the time you get to the sideline and try that play again and the next drive, they've already solved it, right? They've
yes,
they've already adjusted. They're gonna make you adjust again. And so that was my experience. And big is for big, right? They're big. Like
right.
they're big, they're big. This is a physical conference. And I would just say the weather, right? Up
Yeah,
here in Big Ten, you're gonna have to play in a game where the wind's gonna be blowing 30 miles per hour. Like, I don't know if that's happening in Oklahoma last year. At least when I played Oklahoma, that didn't happen. Like we've already had that this year, where it's gonna, and you have to know how to play in those elements, and actually it's a coaching. You got to know how to coach in those elements as well. So it's some things that happen up here that don't typically happen in the Big 12 or the SEC. A lot of times with the weather up here, but it's been fun. I love it here.
You've been you're a Florida boy
Hmm.
originally, but look like most of your career you've been up north. How did you get? When I think of Big Ten, I think of snow. I think of grounded out football. Smash mouth football, tough guy football. You coming in there. You grew up in Florida. Now you're in this cold weather constantly. How was the adjustment to that?
The adjustment is, shoot, I started off the first part of the cold I had was free. Probably I would say going to Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I would say North Florida, where we live, is colder than most places. Well, I would say cold than Miami or whatever. But there's no there's no. I started my career off here. I spent 6 years up here as a full time coach at Western Illinois, and my career, like a lot of times, you build relationships, and so you build a relationship with the high school coaches. You build relationships with a lot of people, and so I've just been in the Midwest. I've been blessed to be in the state of Illinois for my. This is my 13th year in the state of Illinois, and there's no better school in Illinois than the University of Illinois, right? So, and that's my opinion. Like, so, for me, we spent my I have our youngest daughter was born here. Our kids were practically raised here in the state of Illinois. It's just I just been blessed and fortunate as a coach and our family to be able to stay in the same place. It's not that I didn't want to go closer to home. It's just how things have worked for me in my career.
That's awesome, man. You guys, I watched some of your games a couple times, and you y'all in the mid range there. Y'all trying to get bowl eligible. What's your schedule like the rest of the year anyway?
Well, we play Iowa this week on the road, and Kinnick Stadium is going to be a live environment. Going up against uh, I think they're 16th right now and in the playoff. And so those are fun. Those are fun environments. I live for that, right? You want to be in those things. When you walk out in those venues and it's 80 to 100,000 people, you say, "Thank you, God." You really like this is what all the hard work and the things you put yourself and your family and the players that you get to coach. Why you do it, right? You get these opportunities. You want these opportunities, the opportunities, and like just going back to last year, to be able to go out in Jerry World and play in a championship game, right? To be able to go to the Sugar Bowl and have those opportunities, and then going back to this year's schedule after that, which I don't like to look, but we will play our rivalry game, which is Northwestern. It was right up the street, so at home. So we have two final games that are both will be really competitive games. All our games in the Big Ten are going to be competitive. They're going. The one last week came down to overtime. We ended up getting the best of that one. I think 49-42 or whatever 40 whatever the final score was. And so they're all going to come down. The week before that versus Minnesota, we beat them in a 2-minute drive on a 4th and 11 from our minus, and we hit a big one to win. This is good football, good coaches. It's going to come down to that on a week-to-week basis, and I love it. Right, it's competitive. I live for the competitive moments that we get a chance to be a part.
Last year you was in Kansas,
Hmm.
and now back in Illinois. What made you make that move? Because I kept up with you. You was uh you was at Temple. You
Hmm.
went from Temple to that was West to Kansas. You went from Temple to Kansas.
Yes, yes. So at Temple, they let go of the head coach, and they made me the interim head coach there.
Well,
I
I
spent
didn't know
Yeah, I was the interim head coach for weeks and weeks, and then they end up hiring a great coach, um, and he came in. I was able to stay along, but I just felt like when Kansas State called, it was a great opportunity for me to a great opportunity for me. So and my family. So we moved to Manhattan, and I had a great time there. Didn't plan on going anywhere. And like this business, I'll share with you. The day after the championship game, I got uh, 3 calls from teams in this conference. Actually, and one of them wasn't here, right?
Right.
And I'm happy. I love it there. Um, but Illinois was always one of those places that if I ever got an opportunity to come back, I would think about it, right? I would literally think about it. I'm happy at K State. We're winning. We're going to win. I love it. All that's great, right? But uh,
Right.
this place is special to me, right? To me and my family, they treated us so well when we were here. And then you have a guy like Brett Bielema, right? I always believe that people see you as a lot of times who you've worked for, and me wanting to be a guy who wanted to be a head coach one day, man, you can learn so much every day from him, man. And so just having an opportunity to spend 3 weeks with him, the process with us started late with Coach B, and he reached out to me, and over 3 weeks, he really showed me that he was a man of his word, and that I want, because in my life right now, I'm in a position where I want to be around a certain brand of football. I want to be around a certain kind of environment, right? And it had to be good and had to be a good fit for me and the family. So he showed me that. He showed me what family was all about. And here I am. And obviously it was a place that we loved as a family from the beginning. But if it wasn't for Coach B, I wouldn't be back here. And so yeah, it was 3 weeks, man. 3 weeks, 3 weeks of tugging. He actually sent my wife roses. Coach B don't take no for an answer if you know him.
Right.
All in seriousness, he just showed me how he can help me continue to develop holistically, man. And I want to be a part of that.
Hey, let me ask you a question. A
Hmm.
little bit more serious. I know a bunch of guys in college coaches. Quite a bit of transition from school to school.
Hmm.
How did you manage to balance the family life with so much transition? Because every coach I know, they never stay at the same school for, it's always something that every few years they might have to move because you don't have any control when you're assistant. You pretty
No,
much whoever you're working for, if they go, you got to go.
they go a lot of times. You have to go. Sometimes I've been fortunate to stay on, but a lot of times you have to go. And I would just say, man, the number one thing, and that's a great question. That's an awesome question, right? Like a lot of times, uh, like you said, man, you don't have a choice, right? But you have to have a good supporting cast. So with everything I've ever done, all I've asked, yeah, was that I and make this about my family, right, and not about me. As the man of the household, I want to make these decisions about my family and us together, and pray about it as a family, like we always do, and really make sure they're a part because you have to understand as the person in the forefront, like me, right? It's gonna make me happy, but what is it gonna do for my family?
Right.
And you have to understand that they're a big part of this, right? They're changing schools, they're changing friends. Like that's no bono, right? That's not good. I have to have that. And in my Hall of Fame speech, what I did was I thanked my family, and because of they allowed me and pushed me, they've allowed me to really pursue my dreams and my aspirations. And obviously, it's tough for them. And so I think each one of them, all of my kids, my wife, you have to have a special partner uh, because it's different, right? You move from community to community, and they're trying to get stable, and sometimes it's not of your choice, right? And
Right.
so um, it really takes a special group, man, and I have that. They're very understanding. They understand when I'm in a bad mood. If I come home and if practice didn't go to way, they understand all of that, right? And
Right.
so it just takes a special group, man, to be able to be a coach's family, be a coach's family, coach's wife. All those things work together, and I have that supporting cast that have allowed me to be able to do what I love to do.
And the last thing I'm gonna ask you, uh, I'm a young guy getting ready to choose a profession. I want to be a coach.
Hmm.
What advice would you give that young man if he wanted to start in this career path you take?
Yeah, I would say, man, it's gonna sound real cliche, but man, I would tell them to be good at what they do, to work hard, right? We these are some of the things that we have on our door coming in. We talk about working hard, right? And then where are you, right? Wherever you are, be there, right? Be here, be present at your job right now. Be great at what you do, and obviously you got to build relationships and network. But I'm telling you, like I didn't go out and look for a job. I don't have to go out and look for jobs in my career because I'm present. I'm here. I work hard, right? I'm intentional about what I do. And if you work hard, put your head down and grind, people want to know, people will come, they'll be attracted to you by the way you work, right? So obviously I had to learn that. Didn't know that, but I would just tell them to put their heads down and work, continue to learn and try to master their craft, right? Never gonna know everything, but just continue to grow. I learn something every single day, whether it's about defense, whether it's offense, whether it's special teams, whether it's how to handle the situation, right? All these things will help you. And we're coaching in a world where things are different, where guys are making just the same amount of money as we making, but not more, right? So the game is ever changing. You have to continue to evolve, and as a coach, and so master. But what guys respond to on every level, from high school, all the way up to the NFL, is you. How can you make your players better? And I think you treat people, something that goes unnoticed. Treat people the right way, right? The things that our parents have taught us, right, especially where we're from, those are the things that have worked for me. Like I tell people all the time, like if you work hard, right? It's a lot of people that work hard. Well, what's going to separate you and them, right? You master your craft. We all are good coaches, right? How do you treat people in your past? Like the people that you come in conversation with and the people that you see daily, how have you treated them, right? Those are the things that are going to separate you from not the competition, but when you're going in those interviews and there's 3 and 4 people that are battling for those jobs, and they're all going to be good. Um, so those are the things I would say. Just be where you are, be present where you are, take care of where you are, put your head down and work, continue to build relationships, and master your craft.
Man, I'm just happy that me and you got a chance to conversate here. I think you accomplished a lot. I didn't know you was in the Cougar Hall of Fame.
I am.
Hey,
It took 20
yeah,
years.
I am so glad to talk to you. Good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the Coach Cofield Show.